how this sheltered girl from small town New Hampshire spent her holidays in 2011. Crammed into a Jeep with over 200,000 miles on it, traveling at the breakneck speed of 53 miles an hour to keep from swerving all over the road, with my new husband, our 3 angry cats, my ancient Shih Tzu that should have been on hospice, and our 2 big excitable German Shepherds, moving sight unseen to Iowa, towing a U-Haul with all of our belongings. Every mile past Vermont was the furthest west I had ever been in my life. While driving through the endless state of New York, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and finally Iowa, we had to keep checking on our Shih Tzu to make sure she was still breathing, and keep hoping that her cats didn't actually use the litter box. Our shepherds kept jumping back and forth from the trunk to the back seat and whining at everything. First few months of living here, I hated it. I felt like a fish out of water in a landlocked state. But it didn't take long to change it. 6 months into living here, we bought our first house. I had my own photography business and was a board member of the local Chamber of Commerce and the spring soccer. I was jumping into living in Iowa with both feet, and I was way more involved than back home. Not long after that, I was given the opportunity to take an EMT class. My first day at clinicals, I got to help perform CPR. Standing on a stool and doing chest compressions was tiring, but I fell in love with medicine. My boss, who I looked up to, convinced me to take the advanced EMT class less than 6 months into being an EMT. After that, I gave my first med to a real person. The patient had a very low blood sugar and was drooling and unresponsive. I decided he needed glucagon, which is an intramuscular injection of glucose. I was so nervous while reconstituting the med. I was shaking so hard I didn't actually have to agitate the bio. I studied myself enough to give the patient the injection. Seeing him come around and become responsive made me feel so good. It made me realize I wanted to go further and become a nurse. Shortly after, I started taking classes and finally got into nursing school, which was one of my most proudest moments. Right now, I'm going to school full-time, work at 2 different hospitals while trying not to neglect my husband. While I hated living here in Iowa and being so far from home, this move helped me figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. So much for being a sheltered girl from small town New Hampshire. I'm feeling pretty brave and cool.